But what do you think about the stigma surrounding admitting to burnout? And how can we better encourage musicians to confront burnout without feeling shame?
I totally agree that we need places to talk about this. And when I do my teacher trainings, the first thing we do is talk about your experiences as a student, because there are buried inside us, the conductor who yelled at us, or the band or orchestra director who said we weren't good enough, or the teacher who looked at us funny when, and our colleagues who were mean to us, and so much there that people are always in tears at some point because they haven't had a chance to really talk about this stuff. So I agree. A forum to share not just burnout, but all of the stuff that comes up in our profession. There's a lot of unhappiness out there and a lot of pain that needs to be addressed. Not just, pain, physical and mental. Yeah.
Totally. I totally hear you. And I think the reason why I'm a coach and the reason why I do what I do is I have a vision for a happier, more supportive music world, right? I think that there's a lot of conversations that aren't happening. And that's why I do what I do. And, one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about it is I really want to change that stigma. And I think finding that support network can be scary or challenging, especially we think about, I come from the classical world, like the traditional classical world of, don't tell anybody about your fears, or don't sort of don't let anyone know that you're having a hard time, or don't let anyone know that you're struggling or whatever it is, right? I want to bust that up. And I think that, but to think about how you might practically do that, I can preach all day long and I will do everything I can and I'm going to continue to have these conversations. But I do think that we all have our own support networks. And it's just a matter of looking at what we have amongst, our networks and our friends. And when you think about who can support you, also thinking about what kind of support you need. I think, when I was injured actually many years ago, I really learned a lot about my friends and who was willing to support me the way I needed. And it can be a tough lesson to learn, but I bet you have those people, right? Who will listen to you? Who can support you? Maybe it's not an entire huge community online. Well, actually, maybe that does exist. I have a Facebook group. Come join it. We're awesome. But I think, maybe it's not the music scene you're in whatever city you're in, or the school or you're in, or whatever. But there are people. Find your tribe, find your people, and sometimes it takes a little detective work. But I bet there's, you are not alone. You are not alone at all. And maybe there's people in your immediate network, or there are music communities online that are talking about this stuff. But I really do believe that we have people. You need a trusted friend, or you have support. Maybe you have to find it, but I really believe that you do. And it's a matter of sort of taking that initiative to see who you can talk about it with, I think.
So just to reiterate what these ladies are saying, stigma stops when we start talking, and it perpetuates when we stay silent. So nobody wants to be a silent statistic, but up to 93% of musicians will experience playing related pain or injury during the course of their career. 93%. That's like all of us, but like one in this group. That's an insane number. And yet it perpetuates because we don't talk about it. There's a stigma there. Same with burnout. There's a stigma. You have to be on your A game all the time. No, you don't. We're human beings. We're not machines. We're not AI. We're not little Alexas walking around, right? We are human beings. So we talk about this in my job security program, but the mindset and the stigma behind it, and how you break that is by talking, which can be a scary thing. So having the courage to be a little vulnerable with people and find that, like she was saying, find that trusted person that you can start talking to. And then maybe you guys find another trusted person, and then you find a tribe, then you find a community. And then you realize, there are, 93%, what do you want to bet? That's 100% of people get burned out. It might not be right now, but we've all experienced it at some point. It doesn't mean you're any less of a musician. It doesn't mean you're any less of a person. It makes you more of a person. It means you care, you are passionate, and you have drive and ambition, and you're doing something with your life, and you care so much. That's a good thing. But you can't do it by yourself.
We think that it's our fault. That's why we don't talk about it. We feel ashamed and guilty, and it's not your fault. It's not even about forgiveness. It's like, this is a system. We've been trained to be this way, and yes, let's change the system, and yes, let's also give ourselves permission to accept the fact that we didn't make this happen.